Welcome to the Two Marketeers podcast, where marketing swashbucklers Sean and Lindsay seek to demystify the fascinating world of modern marketing.
Each episode takes listeners on a storytelling adventure that informs, entertains, and inspires marketing enthusiasts of all kinds.
And now, here are your hosts, the Two Marketeers themselves, Sean Patrick and Lindsay. Wow!
Yeah! Woo! Take the stick!
Hello.
Hello. Boo! Hello. I thought we were keeping in the Halloween spirit.
You count us down and then you just disappear. And I'm like,
I know, because I like the element of surprise. Boo! Boogade boogade.
Oh,
What was that Boogeyman movie where he went boogade boogade boo?
I don't know.
The Boogeyman. That's what it was called.
You're still at an age where you remember more than you need to. That'll fix itself.
Only because it was severely traumatizing, that movie. I'm going to find it and send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are, 5 days after the Halloween that was 2020. And we are now doing our very first The Two Marketeers Episeudo.
Dun dun dun.
Our very own version of a mini-sode. Why?
Yes.
Because Lindsay has an I told you so.
Where we're predicting things and then we hope that they come true. And if they do, we mention them. And if they don't, we never talk about it again. Remember this trend
this
we
isn't the
predicted?
only one.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Remember when we first met, like back in 2010, when I thought QR codes were going to be the biggest thing that year? Mm-hmm. And it took until 2020 for people to start using them in a pandemic?
At the time, you had to rely on someone remembering your URL, going to your website, and hoping that they would carry offline to online, right? I mean, that was kind of the wow. But the biggest barrier, in my opinion, that I experienced was you needed an app. And people, around that
people
time,
are like, I'm not downloading it. We're like, but we have great things to share.
No, you
and
don't.
They're like,
You're
I
a
don't
brand.
care. I don't care.
Right?
That is actually a perfect segue into our Episeudo.
Lindsay's very first and unprecedented for the Two Marketeers, I Told You So, Episeudo.
Yes. So this is going back to, we recorded a Halloween episode talking about how brands can help people with new rituals and celebrations. And at the end of the episode, we called out a couple of brands saying, like, we're going to watch and see what you do because we know you're going to do great things. And one of the brands that we called out was McDonald's, because they always have these amazing experiences that they're creating. And I just knew that they were going to do something cool. So this is us following up on what McDonald's actually did so that we can share that with everyone. So
because it's so random that you would have thought that McDonald's would have done something interesting at Halloween. That was a real deep place for you to go.
Is that sarcasm?
Yeah. I hate sarcasm. I'm sorry.
I realize that we're filming from two different households, but I smell sarcasm through my microphone.
I smell sarcasm.
And it is
and
bittersweet.
I don't like it.
I love it and I hate it. So, skeptical, sarcastic Sean, when you were talking about AR, VR experiences with QR codes, this is exactly what McDonald's did during Halloween. So obviously a very interesting Halloween for brands to be creating some cool digital experiences. Like, they are tracking what people are doing. They are switching based on some of their behaviors and trying to create stuff that's value add or a bright moment in someone's day that's either physical somehow to their house or digital. So what McDonald's did during Halloween, and this can be found in Strategy Magazine, we'll put it in the link in our notes. They created an AR experience promoting McDelivery in their latest kind of efforts to reach their guests during this pandemic. So what they said was in this article, most of McDonald's sales are coming from delivery due to the pandemic, and the brand has launched a new interactive experience to enhance something else many people will be experiencing at home this year, which is Halloween. Mm-hmm. Beginning on Thursday, which would have been the Thursday before Halloween, so Halloween was on the Saturday this year, and running until October 31st, They created a web-based AR experience that shows a yellow McDelivery branded door. So virtually, after knocking on the door and entering, users get treats in the form of offers like free deliveries for McDelivery. So also within the experience, they can take scary photos as a way to celebrate Halloween and share them through social media and things like that. So they're creating a digital kind of AR experience at home. They're talking about a way to position McDelivery as a leader kind of in the QSR space in Canada. So they said, we just need to be more aware of where our guests are. And this is what we've been talking about, Sean, a lot in our past episodes is where's the behavior shifting to? What are people doing with brands now? And for a brand like McDonald's, where are they experiencing McDonald's now, especially when you can't or don't want to go into physical restaurants? So they said, obviously, people have shifted to dining a lot at home as opposed to in an actual restaurant. So they said Halloween was an opportunity to link McDonald's to this occasion that they might have otherwise missed out on. And I think this part is really important too. They said they just wanted to be able to bring a sense of community fun and deliciousness into people's homes, which I think is so important. People are just looking for, like, I don't want Halloween to suck this year. We have a lot going on. We can't dress up and go out trick-or-treating. And I just want there to be these fun, fresh moments and these like delightful experiences.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of useful words there, like delightful, like truly the surprise and delight.
Yes.
And yeah. And the other thing too is where they are means something totally different today than it did, say, even 10 years ago or longer, where now where is much more about a contextual sort of connect. You know, how do you speak to them based on where they are isn't less than necessarily just at home, but where are they in their frame of mind because they're at home. And to say, you know, it transcends sort of what used to be traditional marketing, and now marketing, like we've talked about many times, has the ability or the opportunity to connect at an emotional level, hence the brand, not the product. So this is just a great case study to really talk about all the things that you've been talking about, which is brands are going to start to need to make a connection at the brand level, very conscious of making connections with consumers based on what they're feeling and their emotion, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think, like you spoke about with scannable codes or QR codes, for instance, like at some point people didn't want to download the app. Well, now people are at home more. They're on their smartphones more than they ever have been before. They're more digitally inclined because we've shifted our behavior in that way over the last 7 or 8 or 9 months, however long we've been doing this whole pandemic business. But so they're open more to these experiences where they, you know, last year they may have seen something like this and be like, I'm going to still do Halloween my way. But now sitting at home on the couch more, you're like, okay, I am looking for something fun and interesting to do. I'm actually going to go and download this app and take part in what McDonald's is doing because it is kind of that fun little delightful moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's the you know, looking at a lot of factors, I'm assuming they did, where the penetration of the app usage, even for McDonald's, has probably grown like everyone. So they're really promoting the right thing at the right time, that maybe I haven't downloaded the app yet, but this kind of delightful experience brings me into that consideration set that I wasn't in before, possibly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know. And they're having to shift to where they think about, you know, generating their revenue and everything from as well. Like they say in this article, despite its second quarter revenue dropping by 30% for McDonald's,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
McDonald's reported obviously more delivery orders than it has ever, and in the previous quarter especially. And that's a buying pattern that they say they believe will stick around for a long time after the pandemic. So these are the types of shifts that they're forced to, you know, McDonald's has always had a lot of great digital initiatives and has been quite progressive in that way. But now people are changing the behaviors. So they're also ramping up as a brand to meet people where they are. And it's just going to lead in that continued behavior of further digital usage. And McDonald's is going to say, well, we're here with you. We're here supporting you, providing you with these experiences. And we know that that kind of behavior isn't going to go away anytime soon.
So, Professor Wah.
Yes.
As in I told you so, How do we want to end with this little Episeudo to say words of
I'm
wisdom
not
from
done.
Lindsay? Okay. Yes, I will. Shut up. Go for it.
Don't push me to summarize. I'm not done. So, I also, when we were pushing out our Halloween episode, we asked some of our network to share and say like, hey, what are some of your favorite Halloween experiences or Halloween ads from brands in the past that you would want to share? And one of my connections said, they were talking about the Reese's campaign a little while ago where there was a candy vending machine that allowed you to swap out the candy that you hated for peanut butter cups.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Amazing. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, it's like these little moments of happy where it taps into an insight around like, yeah, you go and get all the candy, but you don't necessarily want it, which was actually the greatest thing about this Halloween is that you didn't come back with a bunch of random candy you didn't want. Like you kind of bought the candy you wanted, scavenger hunted around the house or whatever.
Or you just bought the candy you wanted, no one came to your house, and you just sat there and stared at each other eating chocolates and chips for 4 hours.
Which is perfect.
That was less random than you might think.
I think you're revealing a little bit about yourself right now.
Okay, all right, sorry.
But so that brought me to think, and I was like, yeah, that also reminded me of a similar experience that was created by Skittles during the holiday season called the Holiday Pawn Shop. Did you ever see this?
No, Skittles has always done the most incredible
They're
stuff.
always doing, such cool stuff. So the Holiday Pawn Shop was essentially you could bring in Christmas presents that you didn't like and trade them for Skittles at this Holiday Pawn Shop.
So it was like a pop-up shop?
Yeah, this was like a real life experience.
Wow. That's hilarious.
But what made me connect this back to McDonald's is one thing that Skittles did, which is called Treat Town. So it's a virtual trick-or-treat experience. What they did was they created an epic trick-or-treat experience that can be enjoyed from the comfort of your home or kind of like outside while you're walking around. So you downloaded this Treat Town Halloween app, and you could virtually trick or treat. So you would go and you would buy these credits and create your own virtual doorstep. And then you could go around to other people's virtual doorsteps. You could invite your friends and family. They can all create virtual doorsteps as well. And virtually trick or treat for candy, but also get points and stuff for other things. So you're like running around this virtual neighborhood on your phone, collecting all of these different treats and credits that you could then exchange for real candy to be sent to your house or that you could pick up in the store. So Skittles, Snickers, and Twix. Which, I'm like, it's interesting how McDonald's created this interactive app experience. Skittles did something similar as well, just to say, we know people are more digitally inclined than ever. We know that they're looking for experiences and ways to create new kind of rituals and experiences for their families that make this still a great holiday. And we know that people, like from a brand level, are kind of looking for, like we talked about on our Halloween episode, brands to lead the way in creating some of these surprise and delight moments. How can we delight people this Halloween and help them still celebrate in a way that's great?
A really, truly sort of 360 kind of approach that looks at all sorts of angles, giving lots of options for consumers to participate where they feel they want to.
Right.
It will be very interesting to see how this kind of stuff performs based on the change and what succeeds and what doesn't. What are they going to keep doing at the right occasions, like holidays, right? As a candy or as McDonald's. So what have they learned? What do we learn from what they've learned, right? Because everything is a test right now.
Right.
So now, can I ask?
Just wait. Okay, fine. What do we want to take away?
Do you even want me on this?
No.
What, Sean? Do you want me to just move on?
What, Sean? What is it?
Will Professor Wah please join the conversation?
Okay, Professor Wah is here.
Professor Wah.
Well, I think, from a brand perspective, it's like a couple of smart things, which the reason why we knew that McDonald's was going to do something interesting like this is that they're bringing together a couple of smart things. And this is what I think other brands or marketers looking for advice can take away is that they know that their consumers or their customers are more digitally inclined than they've ever been before. They know that this is a holiday when potentially People might have gone into the restaurant before trick-or-treating, but they're not going to do that now. So how can they pivot to an at-home experience? Not only are people more open to them, but you're able to continue to connect with those people when you're engaging them digitally. So if they're getting app downloads at Halloween, think about what happens then a week after Halloween when you're providing additional value through promotions or other things, or as Christmas approaches, or as, other holidays and things, you're getting people into the fold. It's a very smart move to create a digitally integrated experience during this time because people are more open to it, and because you get to have more of that long-term conversation with the brand.
Yeah. And it's like what I summarize even from what you just said is, plant the seed for the kinds of behaviors that they can start to control, and say, get top of mind, get them to start considering at this crucial time when behaviors are shifting and have shifted. How do we look at the context of that and look ahead to what you and I have said is a great thing for brands? Stop being all about COVID and start being about what the world will be like after COVID.
Right.
They're McDonald's. They're going to need to pave the way to what it looks like, what dining looks like in the future, especially QSR, right?
Exactly.
Fast
exactly
food.
that.
Yeah, it's great.
And I would just say, I know that sometimes when we talk about digital and app experience, and for brands that might be smaller companies, that can be a daunting recommendation to say, you need to create this big experience and it's got to be AR. It doesn't necessarily have to be. I just want to give a quick little shout out to the HelloFresh team for doing something that was just such a bright spot in what otherwise could be hard times for people. So in all transparency, my husband also works for HelloFresh, but what they did was in their boxes right leading up to Halloween, they included a little insert that says, "No tricks, just treats. Halloween may look different this year, but we still want it to be spooky and sweet. Enjoy these treats courtesy of the Fresh fam. Happy Halloween, the HelloFresh team." And they said, share your costumes and treats with #HelloFresh. And they had just a small bag of candy with treats in it. And so you opened up the box, which is already kind of a nice experience to open your box of meals for the week. And then sitting on the top was this little note saying, it is going to look different this year, but we just wanted to give you a little surprise and delight. And you're just oh, it was just it's such a bright spot. So for people who are looking for, recommendations, it doesn't have to be big. It can be small, and it's just small deposits into brand love.
Yeah. If your brand is strong and you've stayed true to it, showing you care shouldn't be that hard. No disappointments from some of the big brands. Very refreshing. And I think the campaigns that you talk about themselves, their goal was to surprise and delight. I feel like they did.
Yeah. Bravo. Halloween didn't suck. It was fun.
And you know what, Lindsay? You told them so.
Great first Episeudo. We'll be doing more of these condensed episodes of just quick little things to share. But thanks, Sean. That was awesome.
And let us know if you like it. Leave a comment.
Yes, leave a comment. We would love to hear from you.
Talk to you soon. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye.
That's it for this episode, my fellow marketeers. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, subscribe to this podcast at thetwomarketeers.ca.
That's thetwomarketeers.ca. Spell it out.
Be sure to tune in for more marketing adventures every month from us, the Two Marketeers. But you can just call us Sean and Lindsay.
Actually, I would prefer Wise Guy.
Yeah, I know you would. We're not doing that.